This is the continuing story of Peyton Place. Starring Dorothy Malone as Constance Mackenzie, Ed Nelson as Michael Rossi, Mia Farrow as Allison Mackenzie, Ryan O'Neill as Rodney Harrington, Barbara Parkins as Betty Anderson, Tim O'Connor as Elliot Carson, Christopher Connolly as Norman Harrington.
Last night, Rodney Harrington was forced to side with his brother or his grandfather, Martin Peyton. This morning, Rodney realizes he made the wrong choice and that he must correct it, regardless of the effect it will have on his grandfather.
Hello, Mrs. Court. May I speak to my grandfather alone, please?
Try to eat some of your breakfast.
Grandfather, I just want you to know I was wrong in the way I acted last night. But I think you were, too, all wrong in the way you treated Norman. Well, what's so funny?
Well, most people are puppy-faced, half-conscious and dull in the morning. I find your early morning anger refreshing, stimulating, and, yes, amusing.
Did you hear a word I said?
Every word.
And all you feel is amusement?
Rodney, I was only trying to help Norman.
How? By humiliating him?
But before you interfered,
Interfered? It was getting out of hand.
Before you interfered, I had offered to put Norman through college, help him with his living expenses. He was foolish enough to refuse my help.
You make that sound like a crime.
If you picked a wife like the Jack's girl, and you're penniless and uneducated, it is a crime to refuse help.
You're amazing. You're amazing. The way you have treated Norman. The way you've always treated him, and all you feel is that he's foolish for refusing your help?
What do you think I should feel?
I think you should feel guilty and ashamed for the way you've treated him, for the way you've ignored his existence all these years, and now for the way you're ignoring Rita.
You're the one who's guilty and ashamed because you pushed Norman around last night. What did Norman say that made you see red? I remember. He said, "How do you get to be the chosen one, Rodney?" That's what made you explode. That's what you're trying to blame me for.
You're right. I do feel guilty. And I'm going to straighten that out with him. But that does not let you off the hook, grandfather.
You're out of order. Both of you. Norman for his ridiculous behavior, and you for defending him. Norman's fortunate, extremely fortunate, to have someone who's willing to give him financial help when he needs it. You think that's easy to come by?
Don't you understand? All he has ever wanted from you is the one thing you didn't give him. Your approval, your affection, your love. That's all he ever wants or needs. I don't know, maybe you can't give that. Maybe that's the one thing you don't have to give to anyone.
Well, was it worth it? Was it really worth putting Rodney's father back in charge of the mill just so you could have Rodney live under the same roof with you? So you could try once again to win that boy's loyalty and love?
My grandsons are none of your business.
All of your sacrifices, worthless.
I don't need your pity.
I'm not giving you my pity.
As long as I'm able, I shall continue to try to influence my grandsons the way I think best.
It's futile.
Get out, Hannah.
Even if you were to succeed in winning them over tomorrow, it wouldn't mean a thing. Not a thing. Because as soon as Ann Howard decides to let the truth be known, the truth about you, Martin, about your reason for this sudden burst of family feeling, your precious relationship with your grandsons collapses. Everything collapses. Everything we've both tried to protect.
Good morning, Ann.
Well, what do you think?
Well, I suppose it's better than walking.
Hey, don't be rude to it. It's temperamental.
Any more trouble at the hospital?
No, everything is ominously quiet. How about you?
I finally got in touch with Arthur Crane. I'm meeting him here this morning.
Oh, that's wonderful. How much does he remember?
Well, we didn't talk that much on the phone, but he said he remembered the bluff incident very clearly.
After all these years, that's something.
Look, let me warn you, don't start cheering yet.
Funny that someone like Arthur Crane should be so important to me now.
He was one of your accusers.
I hardly remember what he looks like.
You were a child. We were all strangers.
Will you let me know what happens?
Of course.
Whatever it is?
Whatever it is.
Bye.
Bye.
Ada? Ada?
Well, you're an early bird.
I'm meeting someone.
Be my guest. Coffee?
Not right away.
Well, excuse me then, will you? Read is here.
Sure.
You came all the way down here just to raid the icebox?
Nope. Just to talk.
Well, it's got to be a first time for everything.
That's your breakfast. I'm not hungry.
You've got to build yourself up.
Who have you been talking to?
Dr. Rossi,
How come?
he dropped in.
Mom?
Well, just because he's a doctor, can't he drop into a bar? Since when did you become such a snob?
What'd he say?
That you shouldn't skip meals. Now, what do you want to talk about?
Do you think it was wrong of me not to want a baby?
Well, it's kind of hard to answer a question out of left field like that.
I'm confused. Norm figures out how we can afford to have one, and I'm all for waiting. Then he decides it would be a good idea to wait. And I change my mind and want one.
That's normal. Everybody feels
No,
it.
it's not. Women should not want babies. It's wrong. I'm scared, Mom. What if I couldn't?
You'll be perfectly all right. Just nervous, you.
If we really decide to have a baby, and I couldn't, I'd die. I'd really just die. Well, say something.
Oh, what do you want me to say?
Tell me I won't be punished for not wanting a baby.
I wasn't. Your father and I weren't getting along. Our marriage was on the rocks, and I thought maybe having a baby might help. It never does. He left before you were born, and there I was pregnant when I needed to be attractive. I didn't just not want you. I hated you. If anyone gets punished, I would have been. I was going to give you up for adoption.
What made you change your mind? That giving me away.
I started to like you.
Maybe I'll be able to have a baby sometime.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Oh, hello, Betty. What can we do for you?
First, I'd better help you, or you'll be in the delivery room this afternoon.
I've told Mother I could do it, but she will interfere.
Well, chain it to the desk if she keeps it up. I want a cookbook.
Oh, a cookbook? I'll show you where they are.
Actually, I'd like a salt-free cookbook if you have one.
All right. We do. Here's someplace if I can find it. No, Betty, I've got the perfect book for you. This is my favorite. There are 15 pages on how to prepare suckling pig for 35 people. It's marvelous. You serve it on a wooden platter and you put an apple in his mouth just so.
Oh, that sounds like fun to try.
Well, then you don't want the salt-free one?
Sure, I want to concoct a salt-free suckling pig.
Shall I charge it to Mr. Peyton?
No, send the bill to Stephen's office. You don't have to put the titles on the sell slip, do you?
No, we can just call it cookbook.
That's fine. Stephen and I want you all to come over to the house. It's in a shambles now, but...
We'd love to. I'll bet you've done a beautiful job.
Thank you. Well, drop by soon.
We'll try.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you. Betty's giving a fancy dinner, right?
Right.
And people on salt-free diets usually have heart conditions, right?
Right.
And the only one we know who falls into that category is Martin Peyton, right?
Right. And for Mr. Peyton, it would have to be fancy as well as salt-free.
Right.
Now I know why you read all those mystery books all the time.
It's probably something sinister like a surprise birthday party.
For Mr. Peyton? Golly, Betty's a marvelous kind of wife. She has all the drive. She can mix socially with people. Stephen is a lucky man.
That's only a small part of being a wife, Allison.
No, not really. It's a big part. Because it shows that Betty knows who she is and what she wants from life. I envy her. I wish I could be like her.
Oh, Allison, stop this. Ever since you and Rodney started having trouble, you've been comparing yourself to other girls. Betty has more drive. Rita has more devotion. The girls at the shoreline are less inhibited. Rodney loves you for what you are.
Until now, maybe.